Hello everyone. On this video we will be looking at how to use the proportion method for solving percentage problems to solve for discounts, sales, and annual interest problems. Alright, so if you remember, you have the portion over the base equals the rate divided by 100. Okay, that's if we're doing just a basic percentage problem. If we're using a percentage problem for discounts, we have the discount amount divided by the list price equals the discount rate over 100. Okay, now the list price is just the normal or the original price. The sale price is the new price or the reduced price after the discount is applied. All right, so the sale price is just the list price minus the discount. All right. Now for sales, you have the sale price over the list price equals the sales rate over 100. Now, if you notice, both of these have a list price. So you can use both of these formulas to solve for the list price. But which formula you use all depends on the amount of information you're given. Okay, so if you're given enough information in a problem to use this method to solve for the list price, you can do that. If you're given enough information to only use this method to solve for the list price, you can. So it all depends on the information you're given. Okay, so you have of course, your discount rate and your sales rate. Your sales rate is a little different than the discount rate because it's 100% minus your discount rate to get your sales rate. All right, so if you are still writing, by all means, feel free to press pause. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our first example, actually. Okay, so during a clearance sale, a power saw that usually sells for $300 is marked 25% off. What is the discount amount? Notice it says the amount in parentheses because sometimes they will ask for just the discount and they will mean the discount amount. Okay, so I want you to be aware that sometimes you won't see the word amount there. So if they ask what is the discount, they mean the discount amount. Okay, and what is the sale price? All right, so let's go ahead and jump into solving this one. Okay, so we have a discount rate of 25. And we have a list price or original price of $300. Okay, and we have a discount. And remember, sometimes it may say discount or sometimes it may say discount amount, same thing. But either way, our discount is unknown, so we give it the variable D. All right, so let's screw that up a little bit. Okay, so we know we have the information to use the formula for the discount over the list price, which is equal to the rate over 100, or the discount rate over 100. Okay, so if we plug those things in, okay, so the discount amount is unknown, so that stays D. The list is 300 equals the discount rate, which is 25%, all over 100. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. Okay, so that's 100 times D is equal to 300 times 25. Okay, so 300 times 25 is 7,500. So you have 100D equals 7,500. Divide each side by 100 to solve for the unknown variable. and that gives us a discount amount of $75. All right, now, you could have solved for the discount using the equation method. So, once again, it's always more than one way to do it, but just in case you have an exam problem or something like that, that may say using the proportion formula, solve for this one. So it's best to know both ways. But if you wanted to use it and there was no stipulation stating that you had to use a certain method, you could just rewrite it as what is 25% of $300. Okay, so what number, that you can make that n or x or whatever. Remember, is just equal to 25%. Remember, when you're using the equation method, you have to change that to a decimal. Of is just multiplication, and $300 is just 300. Okay, so this just becomes n equals 0.25 times 300, which would just give you 70. Oh, actually, you should just make that d to match up the variables. But you could have left it as n, doesn't matter. But I'll just match it up here. So d would equal 75. So either method would work. All right, so we have our discount amount. Now we have to find the sale price. Okay, so if you remember, the sale price equals the original or the list price minus the discount amount. All right. So we have our list price, which is 300, minus our discount amount, which is 75. So our sale price ends up being $300 minus $75, which is $225. Okay, so that's how you would solve for that one. All right, so if you are still writing, feel free to press pause, but we're going to go ahead and move on to our next example. Okay, so after a 25% discount, the sale price of a power sander is $144. What is the list price? All right, so what I want you to do is go ahead and press pause and try to solve this one on your own. All right, so assuming you've pressed pause and worked this one out. So to figure out which formula we're going to use, remember, they give you the discount rate, then they inquire about the sale price, which is $144, and they want to know the list price. Now, which formula has those? Well, the formula that has the sale price over the list price is equal to the sales rate over 100. Okay. So your sale price is equal to $144. Okay. Now your sales rate, remember, for your sales rate, when they give you the discount rate, your sales rate is equal to 100% minus your discount rate. Which in this case is 100% minus 75%, which is 25% for your sales rate. Oh, I'm sorry, I mixed that up. That should be 25 instead of 75. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead and mixing up. So minus 25%, that's 75. Sorry about that. All right, and our list price is unknown, so we leave that as just a good old-fashioned variable of L. All right, so we go ahead and plug these into our equation. Okay, so your sale price is 144 over your list price, which is unknown, so we make that an L, which is equal to your sales rate, which is 75 over 100. Now we go ahead and we cross multiply. So you have 75 times L equals 100 times 144. Okay, 100 times 144 is 14,400. So you have 75L equals 14,400. Divide, oh, sorry about that. Divide both sides by 75. Anything divided by itself is just 1. So our list price is equal to 14,400 divided by 75, which is 192, which is your list / original price. All right. So once again, if you are still writing, feel free to press pause and finish up. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our next example. All right, so you have a pre-inventory sale that advertises all tools at 20% off. What would the sale price be for a drill that costs $69.95 before the sale? All right, so once again, I want you to press pause and, using the information here, pick the right formula and method to solve it. All right, so assuming you've pressed pause and you've already finished this, so let's go ahead and verify it. Okay, so you have your discount rate, which is 20%. Okay, you have your list price, which is $69.95 before the sale, so that's your list price. Okay. Now, one thing we're looking for is the sale price. So, if we find the discount, then we can use that to find the sale price. So your sale price is equal to the list price minus your discount. Okay, so all the information up here is enough to find the discount, and once we find the discount, we can find the sale price. All right, so let's go ahead and use our formula where we have the discount divided by the list price is equal to the rate over 100. All right, so let's go ahead and plug those in. So your discount is unknown, so we're just going to keep that as D. Okay, now your list price, we can see that's $69.95. Your discount rate is 20%, all over 100. Okay, so we go ahead and cross multiply. So we have 100 times D equals 20 times 69.95. All right. So 20 times 69.95 is 1,399. So 100D equals 1,399. So if we divide both sides by 100, anything divided by itself is 1. So our D would equal 1,399 divided by 100, which is 13.99. Okay. Now to find the sale price, move that up a little bit. Remember, that's equal to your list price minus your discount, okay, which is your discount here. Okay, so our list price is $69.95 minus our discount, which is $13.99, and that gives us a sale price of $55.96. All right. So once again, if you're still writing, feel free to press pause. But we're going to go ahead and move on to sales tax, interest, and commission. Again, we're using the same format, but these are just formulas to help you solve the problems. Okay, so you have your sales tax divided by your cost. Your cost is sometimes called your purchase price, which equals the tax rate, sales tax rate over 100. Okay, and to find the total price, you want to add your purchase price plus your sales tax, or your sales tax amount. Okay. Now to solve your annual interest problem, you have your annual interest divided by the principal equals your annual interest rate divided by 100. Okay, so we know that your total interest is just your annual interest multiplied by your time in years. Okay, now the principal, which is listed here, is just the amount of money that was loaned out or borrowed. And your interest is just the amount the lender paid was paid basically for you to use their money. So if you borrow $10 and you pay back 11, then the interest paid back was $1 because you paid back a little bit more than you borrowed in order for the person that loaned you the money to make a profit. All right, so just going to scroll this up. And we have commission problems. And the commission is just a salesperson's share of the sales receipt. So if you have the commission amount divided by the sales amount, or the sales amount could be the purchase price, equals the commission rate over 100. All right, so if you're still writing, feel free to press pause. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our next example. Oops. All right, so suppose the tax rate is 4%. If the sales tax rate on a tool is, well, the sales tax amount is $5.44, what is the purchase price and total price of the tool? So this should be tax rate amount, not rate. My apologies for the error. All right, so once again, using the formulas I just showed you, I want you to go ahead and press pause and try to solve this one on your own. Excuse me. All right, so assuming you've pressed pause and worked it out, let's go ahead and verify your answer. So you have the sales tax over the cost is equal to the sales tax rate over 100. All right. So let's go ahead and fill those in because your sales tax amount is $544. Over your cost. Okay, your cost is sometimes sometimes called the purchase price. So we're looking for our purchase price, so that just stays C. Equals your tax rate, which is 4%. So we make that 4 over 100. All right, so we go ahead and we cross multiply. So we have 4 times C is equal to 100 times $5.44. Okay, so 100 times $5.44 is just 544. So 4C equals 544. So if we divide both sides by 4 to get our C isolated, that should be 4. Sorry about that. Okay, so C, your cost, is equal to 544 divided by 4 is 136. Okay, so that's your cost, or you can call it your purchase price. Okay, so now we have to find the total price of the tool. Okay, so we know the total price is the purchase price plus the sales tax. Okay, so our purchase price or our cost is 136 plus the sales tax, which is $5.44. So if we add those together, we get $141.44 for our total price, tax and everything. All right. So if you are still writing this one, please feel free to press pause and finish up. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our next example, which is an interest example. All right. So using the interest formula, I want you to go ahead and press pause and try to solve that one. All right, so assuming you've already pressed pause and solved this one, let's verify your answer. A man invests $2,000 in a savings plan that pays 7% per year, which is just annually. How much money will be in the account at the end of 1 year? All right, so we have our annual interest divided by your principal, which is equal to your annual interest rate divided by 100. All right, so we go ahead and we plug in everything into our formula. Okay, so your annual interest, we don't know. Okay, so we have our annual interest, which is I. We have our principal, which is the money that was started in the investment, which is $2,000, equals your annual interest rate, which is 7%. So 7 over 100. Okay, so we go ahead and we cross multiply. So you have 100 times I equals 2,000 times 7. All right, so you have 100I equals 2,000 times 7, which is 14,000. Okay, so if we divide both sides by 100 to isolate the variable I, if I equals 14,000 divided by 100, which is 140. Okay, so that's the annual interest earned. So now to find the total amount of money made, we have to add together the amount that they started with, which was the 2,000, plus the interest that they made. Okay. So let me move that up a little bit. Total earnings is equal to your principal plus your interest. Okay, so that's your $2,000 that you initially invested, plus your interest amount. Let me say interest amount, which is $140. So at the end of 1 year, it will be $2,140 in the account. All right. So if you are still writing, feel free to press pause, but we're going to go ahead and move on to our next example. And this is a commission example. Okay. So suppose a car salesperson's commission rate is 12%. If the commission, or commission can mean commission amount, on one of the cars is $1,836, what is the purchase price of the car? All right, so since this is a commission example, I want you to go back and look at your commission formula and plug it in, and I want you to press pause and solve this one on your own. All right, so assuming you've already pressed pause and worked this one out, let's go ahead and verify your answer. So using the commission formula, you have your commission or commission amount divided by the sales amount equals the commission rate divided by 100. All right, so your commission amount, the amount of commission made, was $1,836. Divided by the sales amount, we don't know. That's what we're solving for, the purchase price of the car. So since we're looking for the purchase price, we'll make that P is equal to the commission rate, which is 12%, over 100. All right, so we go ahead and we cross multiply. So we have 12 times P equals 100 times 1,836. All right, so 100 times 1,836 is 183,600. So 12P equals 183,600. So if we divide both sides by 12 to isolate our variable, 12 divided by 12 is 1. So our sales amount, or purchase price, is equal to $15,300. And that's the purchase price of the car. All right. So once again, if you are still writing, feel free to press pause. But there's one more thing I want to cover on this video. And that is to note that there is a difference between annual interest and simple interest. Okay, so the simple interest formula, we usually use that to find the interest rate for short-term loans. So 30, 60, 90 days, something like that. So you may be familiar with this one, you might not, but where the interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. That's for simple interest. So if you see a problem that asks for simple interest, then this is the formula you would use. Okay, So it shouldn't be confused with the annual interest problem that we did before. Okay. So for simple interest problems, if you're looking for the interest rate or the interest of a short-term loan, to say 360 days is what most banks use to identify a year. Okay, so if you have a 30-day loan, if you want to write that in years, you write 30 days out of the 360 days, which is our year. If you have a 60-day loan, to write that in years, you write 60 out of the 360 days. So a 90-day loan would be 90 out of the 360 days, and et cetera, and so on, and it keeps on going like that, depending on how many days your short-term loan is. All right, so if you're writing this, press pause. But we're going to go ahead and do one more example, just using the simple interest. Okay, so a woman deposits $900 in an account that pays 6% annually. If she withdraws all of the money for the account after 90 days, how much does she withdraw? Okay, now if you want to, you can press pause and try to work this one out, but I'm going to go ahead and work this out for you. So you have interest equals your principal, your rate, times your time in years. Okay, so your interest is equal to your principal, which is your starting value, so she deposited $900, times your rate, which is 6%, so that's 0.06, times your time in years. Okay, now remember, she withdrew it after 90 days. So 90 days would just be 90 out of the 360 days in 1 year. Okay, so if you multiplied all these together, you would end up with an interest rate of 13.5%. Well, the amount, not interest amount, $13.5. Okay, we already have our rate, so our interest would be $13.50. Okay, so you have interest earned after 90 days. All right, so we have our interest amount. Now, to find out how much she would get back from the bank after 90 days, we add those together. So you have your $900, which is your original amount or your principal, plus the $13.50, which is the amount of interest earned. That's equal to $913.50. And that's the amount that she would withdraw after 90 days. Okay, and this is just assuming that there are no penalties for early withdrawal or anything else that a bank may come up with. This is all assuming that no penalties are applied. All right. So hopefully this video made sense. I know it was a little lengthy, but want to go over quite a bit of stuff. And hopefully it made sense, and I'll see you on the next video.